This week is my project is going to be part of a challenge hosted by Marah at Borderline Furniture, and the theme is for a fall challenge, and it's actually called Zombie Apocalypse. And so I am not sure I would be able to meet that challenge, but I'd like to participate anyway. There's a few goals here. I think the parameters are modern, industrial, and something else. I forget because I don't have the cartoon in front of me. And to use eco-friendly materials. So I don't know if I mean, I would think that most materials are eco-friendly. We can't get certain types of strippers here that exhaust into the air. And I'm not going to strip it anyway. I use soap and water, bleaches, alcohols. Sometimes I use an industrial cleaner, but again, it's actually a cleaner that doesn't even have to be rinsed off. So, there's that. As far as my materials, I can't go out and buy new materials to use, so I'm using what I use all the time. Hopefully it will fit in those parameters, and my style will at least be a part of the challenge. I don't think I really do. I modernize furniture, I guess, so in that way it's modern, but I do like an artistic look, if not a complete restoration. This piece isn't going to be a restoration. I'm actually going to make this piece really pretty, and I hope that someone will want to use it in the future. It's different. It has a big crack here. The hinges have been replaced with something that doesn't work. It has an inside that someone stuck in there, probably from some other piece, and I'm going to take that out. I'm going to go back to its simplified roots, but I'm going to dress it up, so if that makes sense. Yeah, it has a couple of shelves in the bottom. The feet are actually just part of the walls of the secretary itself. And yeah, let's get started. So you can see that at one point this must have smashed down and this broke as well. And then it broke on the face of the secretary. So it's taken quite a beating. Hopefully I can fix that. This is kind of falling apart too. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm going to mix up some wood putty, and I'll use this powder mix, and then I'll put a little bit of the natural umber or raw umber, just to tint it up a little bit, because I know this wood is, you know, it's brownish. It's not very light. I'm filling in the old holes because I'm not exactly sure how my new hardware is going to fit. So rather than waiting, I'm going to fill it in. So my plan is to refinish the desktop, which includes the fold down part of the secretary and this shelf right here on the top, and everything else will be painted. Oh, and the drawer front. And I went over it with the denatured alcohol. It is shellac, and so it reactivated with the alcohol, and I was able to use that as a sort of stripper to take it down. I scrubbed it with a scrubby and denatured alcohol, and then I will go over it with some fine sandpaper. I'm not going to get out all of the marks on it, but I'll take it down as much as I can. Some of these deep marks will stay, but that's part of the personality. You can see the crazing in the shellac right here. And what I'm going to do is I will go over that with a little bit of the 4-aught steel wool. I'll just wipe down that crazing so it's dull. And you can see that I already did the top, because when I put the paint over it, I want a smoother finish. So that's all I did, was take down some of the nibs on here and remove some of that gloss. So like I said, I'll do the same thing here, and I'll do the same in the rest of the piece. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to take away some of that sticky stain and give me a good paintable surface. So right now I'm going to sand the parts that I plan to keep stained. So let's do that. I'm going to use a 180 grit sandpaper on my edge sander. And probably, well, I'm going to take it outside so that I don't make a mess in here inside with all my finished furniture. I always sand with a low grit sandpaper when I'm going to use oxalic acid, because that's what's going to open up my grain. If I use too fine of a sandpaper, I won't separate the grain enough to get as good a result as if I do it with a low grit sandpaper. So 80 grit is good. And then what I'm going to do with this, because it is so stained, and the stain goes so deep, I brought out a little metal brush, brass wire brush, and I'm going to go over it with that, because that will also open up my grain, and it will open up the grain with the oxalic acid on it. So hopefully I'll get a good result that way. I'm also going to go over the shelves as well, again with the brass bristle brush. You can see these ink stains coming right out of the wood. It's amazing. So let me go over it with the oxalic acid and the brush. I think this is ink. It just looks like ink. Okay, it's that time of year again, and I want my pieces to dry, and it's chilly, so I'll put it on Eeko mode, and I'll also set a timer for 6 hours, so it should shut off automatically. Yep. you know, a screwdriver in there, it is going to break a little bit. I bet if I oil it, you know, it may work. Now, I actually can make this old lock work. I don't think it works that well, but maybe if I oil it, it will work properly. A little bit of this rust dissolver spray. I put a lot of oil in it this time. It still doesn't, it's not consistent. Sometimes it doesn't go up all the way. So as I look at these drawer slides, I realize that the back is about 1/4 of an inch higher than the front, and I think if I have them level, those drawers won't fall forward as I pull them out. Let me get that side out too. Whoop. It's going to fit better once it's waxed. So I put a clamp. Just trying to make sure that there's clearance for it. I took the drawer slide off and I cleaned everything out and I put different nails in it. One's a little loose here, but that's okay. And so I'm going to put some glue on the bottom. I sprayed shellac out here because that will be the base coat for my paint. It's just shellac on old shellac, which I have reactivated with the denatured alcohol. And this is in preparation for my stain. So I'm going to fine sand this again. I'll sand it, the shelves. And I have some shellac on the drawer. And I'm waiting for this side to dry. This side will be painted. But you know, I had to give that a good coat of shellac so that when I put the paint on it, you don't see that crack where I fixed it. I'm going to try some stain before I sand, because I want to put a base of color on there. It's so stained and it needs so much work. I might have to use a gel stain, but I don't like using gel stains unless I absolutely have to, which I may have to after all. But let me start with an oil. I'll let it dry all night and see what it looks like in the morning before I re-sand. So I'm going to start to decoupage. Now you'll see here that I do have some black paint in here. I started painting it and then I realized I don't need to paint it because I'm going to put decoupage on it. And it's a dark paper and I really don't need white paint behind this. I want it to be dark. I want it to be very subtle. And so, yeah, I'm going to start in the bottom right corner. I haven't removed my tape and I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try to lay it down and then maybe try to remove it afterwards. I just don't want decoupage gel landing on my surface. Not that the surface is that nice, but yeah. So I have my Aleene's decoupage gel and I'm going to start in the bottom right corner. And I just want to get something stuck down. This paper is very fragile, so I have to be pretty careful here. I will not put anything over it until it's totally dry. So I'm going to spray a clear lacquer on the decoupage paper before I do anything else. And I will put decoupage gel over it, but I will wait until this is dry. Let's try this. It's called Firelight. Thank you so much to Marah at Borderline Furniture RX for hosting this fun challenge. You saw me refinish and partially restore a primitive secretary in the style of dark academia. She is back to working form. I performed eco-friendly methods while completing this piece. Her finishes include Kasha furniture paint, Couture paint, and Kasha gold foil transfer in birdsong. Her finishes include shellac, lacquer, beeswax, and tung oil, and she also has a beautiful decoupage inset. She's decorated in gold leaf and gold gilding wax. Her lock is fixed, and I found a key to fit. Hinges and lifts are properly attached by me. Please watch the playlist that I linked at the end, and all the products will be listed below in the text, as well as the playlist a second time, so you don't have to go looking for it. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I wish you all good and beautiful things.